One of the coolest AWS security services, AWS Guard Duty. AWS Guard Duty analyzes tens of billions of events per minute across multiple AWS data sources such as CloudTrail, S3 Bucket, VPC Flow Logs, Route 53 Query Logs, and lots of other services, including AWS EKS. AWS last year announced some AWS EKS protection for the control plane, and in that feature, what Guard Duty does is it analyzes Kubernetes audit logs from existing and any new EKS cluster in every account, and then it gives you some of the recommendations. Once that's done, you can also take actions on the basis of your organization security policy. And Guard Duty combines machine learning, anomaly detection, network monitoring, and malicious file discovery using various AWS services. When threats are detected by Guard Duty automatically sends security findings to AWS Security Hub, EventBridge, and AWS Detective. These integrations help centralize monitoring for AWS and other services. You can also automate responses to malware findings and perform security investigations from within Guard Duty. Just recently, AWS has announced AWS Guard Duty EKS runtime monitoring. What EKS runtime monitoring does, it helps us to detect runtime threats from over 30 security findings to protect the EKS clusters. The new EKS runtime monitoring uses a fully managed EKS add-on, which you can configure with few clicks, and it is quite automated. And it monitors your runtime stuff in EKS cluster like file access, process execution, and network connections. Guard Duty can also identify specific containers within your EKS pods, which could potentially be compromised and detect attempts to escalate privileges from an individual container to the underlying EC2 host and the broader AWS fleet. This runtime monitoring in EKS provide metadata context to identify potential threats and contain them before they escalate. So basically it reduces the blast radius. In order to configure EKS runtime monitoring in Guard Duty, all you need to do is to just click 3 times, and that is the recommended scope of production. So all you need to do is to check EKS audit log monitoring, EKS runtime monitoring, and manage agent automatically. Once you enable this monitoring, Guard Duty can start monitoring and analyzing the runtime activity events for all EKS cluster in your accounts. If you also want to automate it fully, then you must choose Manage Agent automatically. This will create a VPC endpoint through which the security agent delivers the runtime events to the Guard Duty. And these two things, audit log monitoring and runtime monitoring, if you have checked it, you can achieve optimal EKS protection both at the cluster control plane and down to the individual pod or container operating system level. When used together, threat detection will be more contextual to allow quick prioritization and response. For example, a runtime based detection on a pod exhibiting suspicious behavior can be augmented by an audit log based detection. And there are other options to which you can follow. And if you don't want to do it automatically, then you need to uncheck it. And then there are a lot of steps to do, like configuring the policies and also creating the VPC endpoint and so on. But I would highly suggest, if you really want Guard Duty to do this proactive monitoring of your EKS cluster at runtime, then just go with these 3 options and select them. Okay, now let's check about what sort of findings are there as part of enabling this protection. On this page in Guard Duty, you see a lot of findings related to EKS runtime monitoring. When Guard Duty detects a potential threat and generates a security finding, it is displayed here on this page in Guard Duty. These security findings indicate either a compromised EC2 instance, container workload, an EKS cluster, or a set of compromised credentials in your AWS environment. And then if you want to see more detail of this finding, then click on it and it will show you more detail from the runtime environment on the right hand side about Kubernetes workload and lot of other stuff. Now, once that's done, all you need to do is to act upon these findings as per your security guidelines and other best practices. I hope this was useful. If you are using EKS cluster, then I would highly suggest that you go with EKS runtime protection in the guard duty. I hope this was useful. If you have any comments or feedback, please put them in the comments. Thank you.